Welcome to the Pittsburgh Dish. I'm your host, Doug Heilman. Are you looking for that new, cozy, yet chic spot with a flavorful, eclectic menu and stellar cocktails? Danielle and Rob welcome you in to Hey Babe. And if you're warming up to fall flavors and the anticipation of holiday gatherings, our wine expert, Catherine Montest, offers up a wine recommendation in the form of a recipe. All that ahead. Stay tuned. Well, thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks for having us, Doug.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
And for being on the show. Would you take a moment to introduce yourselves to our listeners and what you have going on? What's your role right now in the world of food? And Danny, can we start with you?
Sure. I'm Danielle Cain. I'm married to Rob, business partners with Rob as well. We just opened Hey Babe in East Liberty in the middle of June. So we're on month 4.
Wow.
We're tired. We're excited. Everybody's been so welcoming and excited about us being there. So that's what we have going on.
Yes.
That's it.
And Danny, your main role at the restaurant, you're in the kitchen, is that right?
I am the chef. We hired this amazing chef de cuisine. His name's Daniel Okren. We've known each other for years, and he runs the kitchen, and we're together. We're great partners in that, and I think people can see that through the food.
Yes. And Rob, how about you?
And I'm Rob Hirst, partners in life and in Hey Babe with Danielle, and I take care of the front of the house.
Which you do very well. We've been there a few times now, and I see you out and about, which I love as a restaurant, seeing a restaurateur kind of be with the guests when they can. So you're helping seat folks and the bar, traffic, and all of the things sort of front-facing.
Everything front-facing, yeah. I take care of, as well as drink creation, curating the menu as far as drinks, wine, beer, and that sort of thing.
And Danny, are you and your chef de cuisine, you're responsible for changing up the food menu, all those items?
We do all those things together. And we also have great sous chefs, so really keeping people engaged and, talking through it. We're really good about trying new things, talking to each other about it, because that's an art in of itself to be able to criticize each other's food and take criticism.
Right.
And so we're great at that, at being like, what about this?
Yeah.
This is going somewhere. Let's work on it. This is probably a dead end. You need to sleep on this for a few weeks.
Such a productive way to keep innovating that menu. I will say, and just to remind our listeners, you're located in the Maverick Hotel in East Liberty. This was the space that was formerly occupied by the Ace Hotel in the Whitfield. You're in the bar lounge section. And you've done such a great job. So I want to talk about decor. Yeah. But let's go into food right now. Since you were talking about that menu creation, there are so many dishes on the menu that I think really hit spectacular notes with spice and texture and flavor together. Can we talk about some of what you see as a signature that's sort of popping out on the menu or something that's a hot seller?
Sure. I mean, I think the eggplant, you probably have seen it all over social media.
I put it on my social media.
That's probably the most popular dish we have right now. The 5-spice pork belly is doing really well.
Salmon tartare does very well.
Salmon tartare as well.
These are like a lot of the small bites, but the menu has like sandwiches and sort of shareable large plates. How do you both describe the space? Like, what do you want people to think of as Hey Babe? Is it a cocktail bar with food? Is it a restaurant? What's the mood or the setting you're trying to strike?
It's really all of those things. I mean, we just wanted a neighborhood place that was very, very comfortable. Back in the day, which let's say 10 years ago or 12 years ago, there were more loungier places that you could just show up at with, gathering a bunch of friends or just on a date night or what have you. And little by little, and I think the pandemic sort of thinned that out a lot. Yeah. And we live in the East End, and we were always struggling on, our nights off together. Like, where do you want to go out for, a drink, or let's just meet for a drink, or let's meet for a drink and some appetizer, just, a nice night out. So we wanted to provide that, honestly. when we got the opportunity of this space, we looked at the space and it's a beautiful building. I mean, we're really lucky to have this opportunity.
This is the historic YMCA
Correct,
building
yeah.
here in East Liberty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And we're right across the street from the beautiful church. But, we looked at the building and we're like, this is such a nice piece of architecture and it's so beautiful, but it's all straight lines,
Yes.
Everything is like, hard edge, straight lines. And we just looked at that space and we're like, we need to, make it softer. One of our through lines was like, we want to give everybody a hug. So that's, an inviting space that everybody feels comfortable in, that we want elevated service, but we don't want to be stuffy and pretentious. And like, you can show up how you show up. We have people that stay because it's also a hotel. So they're just coming in from traveling, long travel. So they're road weary and they come in and they, it's a virtual check-in. So it's a little strange of an experience. So we have people like right off a plane come in and they have all their bags. And then we have people that come in suits, after work and or after their pickleball match and they're sweaty. So it's just, it's really cool to walk around the lounge and see how many different types of people are enjoying and how they're enjoying the space and the food and the drink. So I know that's a long, that's a long answer to your very easy question.
I think people thought it was going to be a cocktail bar with a few bites and then are surprised that there is a full menu and how diverse it is. And we wanted to make it accessible, for the person that wants a burger on a Tuesday night, as well as, a beautiful strip steak.
I have been that person, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I love that. I think some of the notes that, Rob, you just hit is we are terrible planners. And you guys aren't a reservations place. You're open usually around 4 to, question mark 10, 11 on certain nights.
Correct.
And you can kind of come in just for a drink. You can come in for a couple bites. You can come in with friends and have like a proper dinner, but it does feel upscale yet relaxed. I think the thing that I love is not just like the mood and the colors, but it's even like a little deco-y. When you were saying that you introduced curves, like I saw some of the work on the bar and just everything is curvaceous, but like kind of like voluptuous in a way, in a cool way. And then I think about the menu as well. Like it is really diverse, just like your clientele. Danny, did you have that sort of vision or expectation that we're going to have things that might lean Mediterranean or Moroccan or all American? Like, was that always in your head?
Well, I think my background is pretty diverse, so I enjoy certain flavors. And then working with Daniel, he's from Boston, so he sort of has that sensibility and really loves Mediterranean flavors, where I lean into more Asian, maybe, those sorts of flavors. And then our pastry chef is Lily Tran, who was the chef at Soba after I was. So we have a mixed group of people that, really lean into the things that they're into, and we go for that.
Okay, not just a mixed group, a powerhouse group here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really
We
good.
have a really, our whole goal was to hire nice people, work with nice people, and
Create a family.
And I know that
that.
sounds cheesy because people like to say that, but the kitchen especially, we're very tight and we talk through things and get really excited about what we're doing.
I love that.
But we wanted to keep it small because I think we know about the problems in the restaurant world about keeping staff right now. So creating a menu that could be produced easily, but is delicious.
It's very hard to describe because everybody's asked me like, what kind of food is it? And it's so eclectic and it hits so many marks and it has so many different flavors, even in one dish. And I think my wife is very good at doing that. Even like during the pandemic, we had this thing where she was keeping a journal of all the dishes she'd make. Like every night was a different dish.
Right. You
And
had
it
the
was-
time to really experiment.
And it was really lovely to see that. Just all the different flavors that she was introducing. It was a nice break from a monotonous sort of time.
I will say too, I think as we kind of go forward on the menu, it's diverse and yet it's still approachable. I mean, my husband's vegetarian. We've had, I think it's off the menu now, but it was a mushroom poor boy. That was so good. I mean, there's a lot of vegetarian things on. I think I've also noticed gluten-free on there. So even though we're talking about these various ingredients and high spice, like there's something for everyone when you're coming in.
We have a whole separate gluten-free menu. We hand people I have family members with celiac disease, so it's very important to me to make the menu accessible, especially with my niece who's 14, and sort of the awkwardness of having to announce it and be like, what can I eat to make it easy for people and feel welcome. And they are pretty grateful.
I mean, the fact that we have a separate menu for, if you're vegan or if you're gluten-free. And
incredible. I didn't know that was this. I could ask for something else. That's amazing.
We kind of joke that we became this vegetarian restaurant, which we're not, but we are very veggie forward.
I think you're sensitive to it. You're welcoming to it.
I think everything is very accessible. It's, even with the cocktails, we're embracing the fact that people are wanting low ABV cocktails or also non-alcoholic cocktails.
Yes.
Even if they're not drinking per se, we have a lot of people that come in and they'll start off with a martini and then they'll end with a non-alcoholic just because they don't want to consume that much alcohol, but they still want to sort of be at a table having something with friends.
So smart. We just talked about that on a previous episode of the NA movement. I also like that you brought up the low alcohol movement, sort of like the aperitif, because sometimes that's just really all you want or need. And it is on the menu straight out in front of you, the non-alcoholic beers and the mocktails. We didn't talk yet about the bar program per se. Just like the crispy eggplant, are there a couple of drinks that you're really proud of or that are also some go-tos for some of your patrons that are coming in?
I mean, I have several. A couple have just launched, but a couple of the ones that I know that are tried and true have just come off the menu.
Okay.
Just seasonal.
Sure.
For seasonal reasons. But I mean, the one that it's sort of cheesy, but the espresso martini that I was able to sort of took a long time to figure it out and figure out what worked and
to do it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
On draft.
On draft.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I did not know that.
So the whole idea of it was, one is everybody wants to go to a bar and get a craft cocktail and they want it fast. Well, the two sometimes don't really jive when you're making everything from scratch. So I tried to create a bar menu that was, we have scratch cocktails or we batch from scratch cocktails or we have things on tap on keg cocktails. So that's one of the things, like, everybody loves an espresso martini. They're very popular. I sort of got this idea that I wanted to make it sort of like a Guinness. So you get it in a little Pilsner glass.
Yes.
And it sort of cascades like a Guinness to a nice, beautiful head. Yeah. So that's one of the ones I'm proud of because everybody seems to enjoy it. And it worked. Took a minute to get it to work. But we have another, I had a friend come in from Oregon who used to bartend old soba days. And I started a bricolage with him, David Turkel. And so we collaborated when we were opening on cocktails, which was really fun. But we come up with this cocktail called Little Baby Jeffrey, which took some twists and turns in the name, and it basically was a Oaxacan old fashioned. It had a lychee saffron syrup, and a dried dragon fruit garnish on the bottom. And so you would initially get the cocktail, and it would be a clear cocktail, and then you'd get midway through the cocktail, and the color of the dragon fruit, the purplish,
would permeate.
Yeah. So then the drink would sort of over time change. So, and that was a happy accident. But it took off.
Yeah.
And so really proud of that drink. There's some new fall cocktails on that are really good.
We're recording in fall right now. So I did notice as I was looking, some of your menu items have just changed across the board. I do have one more drink related question. I hope I'm saying it right. Pandan?
Pandan, yeah.
Yeah, I've had the soda. Can we describe for our listeners what some of those flavors are that you take out of that soda?
Very hard to describe. It's kind of like, Pandan is sort of like cilantro. Either
you love it or you don't.
Yeah, there's the camp that, and I think it's 70-30 because a lot of people send it back. They're like, I don't like this. But it's not for everybody, but it's delicious. And the story of that is that I would go to Portland, Oregon for their cocktail week. And there was this place called Pok Pok, which is
the Pok Pok restaurant.
Yeah. And they no longer exist. They went out of business, but their house water was infused with Pandan. So,
And this is a leaf or a grass?
it's like they say Pandan leaf, but I
Yes.
think it's like a grass.
Grass.
Yeah. It's about 3-4 feet tall. In the States, you get it frozen. Pretty much any Asian store in the frozen section. But anyways, so Pok Pok was a little drive outside of Portland. And you come back to the conference and you'd be like, oh, where'd you go? We went to Pok Pok. Everybody would be like, did you have the water? Like, yeah, I did. Why is it so amazing? And then I think my last time out there, Danielle came out with her. I'm like, we have to go to Pok Pok. And then she fell in love with the water. I'm like, and so it was sort of this pact that if we ever opened a restaurant, we would have that in some capacity. And so like the espresso martini, I wanted to make a seltzer and put it on tap. So that also took a little bit to sort of perfect that because I mean, I have the Pok Pok book, but they don't talk about the water at all. And I'm like, that is it's just this simple thing that everybody's just like talking about.
So you're infusing these leaves into a seltzer water. Is there syrup in there too?
I put a little bit of, so I basically...
we don't have to give away any secrets.
Yeah, right. the super secret. But yeah, so I figured out that I steeped it or infused it several different ways over several, 2 days, 3 days, hot and then cold. And, do I burr mix it? Do I not? Do I just chop it? So I came up with I figured out how to do that. And then, I add just a tinge of malolactic acid to it. I add the ingredients to make the seltzer happen. And then, as far as the sweetener, I make it 5 gallons at a time. If I make a special tea that sort of matches the flavors, because those flavors are
it's
like seaweed, but it's not.
I say grassy and a little nutty, and maybe even a note of like a vanilla-y flavor.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Yes,
but it's that. And you even make a cocktail out of that, right?
Yes. It's a Pandan highball.
Okay.
And we use Toki Japanese whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
And we use the Pandan and then just a simple twist. And it's delicious.
I'm glad you guys love it and kind of put it out there. This is such a side note, but I'm always looking for things that don't raise my blood pressure. And it is noted to lower blood pressure.
Oh,
fun fact.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that that's medication, but
yeah, right.
it could be a nice side note.
Yeah.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
This is Danielle Cain.
And this is Rob Hirst.
And you're listening to the Pittsburgh Dish.
Danny, has there been anything on the menu in terms of the food side that has been really a work or a collaboration that you're like, I'm so happy we have this on now, but it maybe took a little while to get there?
Yeah, Dan and I collaborate.
Bits and
A lot.
pieces.
Okay.
Even before we opened like the salmon tartare, I was like, okay, we're having salmon on the menu. Let's use the excess pieces
With the tartare.
with the tartare.
Yeah.
And same thing, being in New York, Rob and I took a trip many, many years ago, and they had it was a decoy that we had the salmon skins,
You're
and
right.
they served it as a little snack. And that was another thing. We're like, if we ever open a place, those are so good. So, I mean, this came on really late, maybe 2 days before we opened. And Dan's like, I can do these salmon skins, and they're amazingly delicious. And now he curses himself because he's the only one that makes them.
I mean, it really,
it's his job, but it's pain.
it really does elevate that dish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
It does.
yeah, it's fun and it's different.
What I love hearing throughout both of your stories is all of this remembered flavors and the journeys you've taken and sort of the notes that you've been taking along the way. So I'd love to pivot a little bit and talk about your backgrounds, because this isn't your first foray into food and beverage.
No, mine's much shorter than Rob. He'll probably take
I'm
up
just
the
old.
rest.
That's all. Just very old.
Well, let me ask this. Did you all meet in the food world? Is that how you came together?
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
I think we met somewhere around the year 2000.
Somewhere around
okay.
I did my internship from culinary school downtown in Casbah. And Big Burrito gives half off to their employees on certain days. So a group of us would always go to Mad Max Oakland. Rob Hirst was the
original one.
iconic bartender at Mad Max Oakland. Everybody knows him from those days.
I worked on Monday night.
So we first met then very briefly. And then I was married at the time and had my daughter and came back after maternity leave to Soba. And Rob was there and it was just like, oh, hey, buddy.
Yeah, you knew each other.
Right. And he's like, oh, glad you're here. And we became friends that way. Years later, when my daughter was 8 then, I'm going to go into this part, got a divorce. And then we had been friends for a year. And then a couple of years later, we got together.
Okay, yeah.
So, but we met at Soba.
Wow.
Soba's sort of
the come together.
place
So was
for
when
us.
we became friends.
Yeah. And I think thinking about the Soba menu, again, over in Shady Side on Ellsworth Avenue, and the Big Burrito Group does such a great job. I can see where some of your flavor profiles probably have emanated
for
from,
sure.
right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I love that you forged this partnership through, all of these experiences. And thank you again so much for bringing so much great food and beverage to a new spot in town. When you guys were kind of coming up in your own respective families, did you ever think that this career path would be the place that it's taken you?
Probably not for me, but I went to college and then went to culinary school and fell in love with everything about it. I think my parents were disappointed at first, expecting a certain journey for their daughter, and then really embraced it and were very excited.
They learned who you were actually and what you really wanted to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and being on this journey, it's I don't think there's that many female chefs, especially in this city, who have children. So being able to be a chef in the industry, take a break, run events, get a whole different side of the industry. So, I could actually be there for my daughter because the industry is not great for ever attending a soccer game or any of these things. Yeah. So that step away from it was really important to me. And I don't regret a second of that. But then, now that she's off to college, this was a big thing for us to be like, okay, what are our dreams actually?
Yes.
So let's do it.
You're doing it right.
We're doing it right
now.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It's all happening.
Did I hear you didn't grow up in Pittsburgh? Is that right?
I was born here. I grew up in Arizona.
You did.
And then came back to Pitt.
We had implanted the magnet.
Exactly. So it happens to a lot of people.
And, since you are like this really accomplished chef, what was food life like at an early age? Were you cooking at an early age?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No. I think I learned how to use the toaster in the 6th grade. It was a joke in the family. But it was later in life that I was into it.
I'm so glad you got into it.
Me too.
Yeah. Rob, what about you? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the East End. I grew up in Morningside.
Okay.
So hop, skip, and a jump from Hey Babe.
Yeah.
I'm an East Ender.
And
so
how did you fall into like the original Mad Max and the Big Burrito Group?
Funny enough, I'd gone to school for art and architecture.
Oh.
I went to Penn State for 2 years, and I transferred home and went to Pitt. I dual majored in architectural studies and design, art and design, at Pitt. And while I was in school, I actually was doing this externship for an architect in Squirrel Hill. And I moved back home, and I was just trying to find a job.
You're finding your way.
Yeah, I was finding another job to sort of get out of the house, get my own apartment. I knew some people that I had some friends that were working at Mad Max, the original Mad Max in Oakland. That was when there was only one.
Right.
One.
Now the bygone location. It was so small, but what a great little bar.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to see it close. But anyways, and I heard that they were opening another Mad Max. And I was like, oh, can you get me an interview? And so I went to an interview thinking that I was interviewing to work at that Mad Max. And here I was interviewing to work at Kaya. They were opening Kaya sort of right after, on the heels of Mad Max North Hills.
Yes.
They were opening Kaya. And I actually interviewed with Tom Barron and Juno Yoon at the time, which were the owners.
Original owners.
And so I got that job. I got that job as a bartender. not knowing anything about bartending. And, I sort of lied on my application.
You knew how to make a drink.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Honestly, I knew about drinks. I knew about drinking, but I didn't know how to make a drink. I had some other friends, and my friend Brian, who I grew up with in high school, his father owned Calico's in Oakland, and I used him as a reference. I'm like, you never let me bartend here. I did everything there. DJ'd, I worked the door. I'm like, you got to tell them that I bartended for Carl. They didn't call any of my references. I put a bunch of references for Penn State that I knew all the bars closed down. And then I had other friends that had like bar books, and I just learned. I just learned on the job. I just followed people behind the bar. I'm like, oh, they're doing this. This is what I should be doing. So it's crazy because I still feel like that person that I'm going to be found out.
Oh, but, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world. Yeah. Hello.
But shortly after that, the other crazy thing is like within a year and a half, I was opening Soba as the bar manager, and it's crazy how life takes. So I took a left. All of a sudden, like I was just enthralled by what Big Burrito was doing. That world sort of was magical. It was before Instagram. It was before the internet was the internet, but it was before the whole explosion of like. You're
even
just
good dining too.
Yeah,
like
just
I
discovery.
came home from Penn State, and Big Burrito was it. It was really the first thing that had concepts and unique flavors, not a chain. These different restaurants that you got such a different experience.
Yeah,
and sort of. I'm thinking now back to the point that you made about going for art and architecture as well. You're working in some really cool design spaces, which probably lends to your space. Your space is great. I think I mentioned earlier, I think it's deco and it's moody. I'm sure you had influence, but Rob, did you kind of point to like, this is what I want? These are some things I want to have happen.
Yeah. I mean, so soon after that Kaya opening, I've been sort of wanting to do my own thing.
Your own place.
And I've been trying, writing a business plan or seeing a space, I also opened, started was one of the founding members of Bricolage. So keeping my toe in the art world, and like I'm inspired by spaces and those dictate sort of feel and sort of vibe. And
absolutely right.
So when we got the opportunity, to do this space, there were a lot of underlying themes and sort of feels that we wanted, but sort of the space started to dictate. It's like this is what the space has, this is what we want, and this is what the space needs. So, and we started with the lamp. I started with this lamp,
the custom giant lamps.
It wasn't the same exact one, but we started with that, and we're like, this is the feeling we want.
Starting point,
and so it all spun off from that. So it was a journey. And
I would say Rob designed like 90% of that.
Mm-hmm. You had some partners probably, right?
Well, with the help, Wildman Charmers.
Yes. But Rob really is aware of functionality. That bar from the old Ace Hotel is beautiful. How do we continue that bar? So we hired Dylan Stein to continue that bar. That was a challenge. And then
I love the stained glass behind it kind of echoes the church.
That was the goal, but make it funky.
It totally is funky.
Also hide the dumpster area.
That's true.
Now I do have a pressing question, and this came up from my husband, Greg. The wall that is what used to be the old Whitfield. Are you ever thinking about getting into that space? Will there ever maybe be an expansion?
So I think it was Cha-Cha Real Smooth, was filmed during the pandemic in the hotel.
That's when they put
they built that wall for that.
It looks very temporary.
Yeah.
It is. And it was just left up. So it will be our dining room. We are making plans.
Okay.
But it sort of works now to be able to shut the door when construction starts and then tear it down.
Actually very smart.
It's not appealing.
Yeah, the one day we were there,
the wall's not appealing.
The wall is not appealing.
It also helps that horrible echo that we get. Sound just bounces off that wall. So we'd like to get back to an open space.
I'm so excited for that. I know that you've let folks in there. If the tables are all full, you've invited us to go sit there and have a drink while we're waiting too. So again, just love it.
Right now, currently, we use it for private events or semi-private events.
Perfect. So you guys are doing that?
Yeah. We're getting a lot of people that want to like, can we have a 25-person party in the lounge? And you've seen the lounge. It's small.
Yeah.
We fit 60 to 70 people in there, but if you have a larger party, over 10 or 12 people, just doesn't get practical. So we offer that instead, which has been working perfectly until we get the dining room in there.
I love a phase 2.
Yeah.
So we'll be rooting for you.
Excited. We're excited.
Is there anything else upcoming? Anything else in the works?
I mean, the ultimate goal is to find ways to connect with the community and do more dinners and fundraisers and that sort of thing. And even though it feels like now we have been working on this project for a year, but it's really only come to life for 4 months. So it's like we're still
you are hitting your
getting
stride,
our
though.
sea legs and getting it. So getting to that point is that we can take on more things.
Yeah, navigating that building. I mean, it's a big, beautiful building, but it's a big building and it's an old building. So I feel like, we are starting to hit our stride, but it's been sort of it's been a journey just figuring out the building and how to work in the building and how a restaurant functions in the building. The kitchen is a big, beautiful kitchen, but it's downstairs.
I was wondering when I see food coming out and versus when it was the Whitfield space, I was wondering if you were using the same kitchen because the food came from 2 different places from my perspective as a guest. So you're downstairs.
We are in the basement.
And they do come from 2 different, but the big, beautiful building is sort of a maze. So there's several different routes to get to the same place. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's 2 stairwells. So,
And they're both brutal.
Oh,
They're
my
both
gosh.
just so
there's a lot of
You're
steps.
running food up steps.
upstairs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when we open, most of our food runners were either friends with or friend adjacent to our daughter. So there are a bunch of 18-year-olds who just
College
graduated
kids.
from high school, about ready to go to college or in college. And I mean, these stairs are awful, to be honest. And
So if you want to come work for
the
us.
first busy night,
upstairs.
I'm just like, oh, you guys okay? And they're like, we love this.
Oh my
this
gosh.
is so fun. Crazy things happen out there. This is amazing. And I'm like, okay. I would probably be complaining about the stairs,
Yeah.
but they're like, yes.
Me at 51 with a
I
bad
love
knee, not the
this.
same.
Not
I'm
the thing.
53 and I hit those stairs a lot. So
Well, maybe this will be prolong all of our time here.
That is a challenge. You need more
We were
staff
blessed.
members too.
we were blessed with a great opening staff.
The best.
honestly.
Staff.
They were great. They continue to be great, but
Right.
Well, I think it's all wonderful. I'm so excited. It is one of our new favorite spots.
How do you like it?
Yes.
Our
And
ultimate goal is just to have a nice neighborhood place where people like to come to.
I think I saw on the website too, you use that term third space. It's not work, it's not home. It's just come hang out.
Yep.
Again, just have a drink. You don't need a reservation. Have a little bite or have a full meal. Hey Babe is one of our new spots for all of that.
Good. And we will have reservations once we open the other side.
Yeah, you might
Because
need
I'll-
to, right? Yeah.
the lounge will stay reservation free, but the other side will be a place to book your reservation.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's remind folks too, again, of your current hours of operation and your website and socials. Is there a day that you're closed right now?
Just Sundays.
Just Sunday. So you're open every other day of the week, but you open around 4. Is that
4
right?
o'clock every day, yeah.
And you go to 10 most days?
The kitchen is open until 10.
Okay.
And the bar really has, it's open till whenever we die down. And then on the weekends, the kitchen is open till 11.
And you guys are located at 120 Whitfield?
South Whitfield.
South Whitfield, which is technically the Maverick Hotel. Used to be the Ace Hotel, if somebody remembers that.
Right next to
in
the
heart.
library.
Right.
Yeah, right in the heart. And lots of parking. That parking lot right behind. It's not hard to get there, Pittsburghers.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, there is
There's
that parking
plenty
lot
of
behind.
I know it's such a Pittsburgh thing, but people
We
worry
wanted to
about
be
that.
open later for food, late night food, and to stay a little later and drink. But I don't know what's happening. I don't know if people go out late anymore.
Well, yeah, I think you have to go with the groove of what's happening now.
Right.
I hear all these Gen Zers, they don't drink, just fine, but maybe they also don't stay out so late, which is
I
not
think
my
that- I
generation.
think
Not
that's
my
it.
generation.
Yeah,
In
we
my
were out
20s,
till
in
2.
my 20s,
They were
yeah.
kicking us
Right.
out too, and now it's like it hits 11, and everybody will just leave, and you're like, you can stay, but it's just not there, I guess. But we'll see what happens.
Before I forget, let's also remind folks of your website and your social handles. Do you guys You know what that is?
Yeah, the website is heybabepgh.com. And the social. Yeah,
I looked
social.
it up.
Yeah.
It's heybabe.pgh.
That's right.
on
That's
Instagram.
correct, Doug.
That is-
I know sometimes that's actually a stumper, and I do minimum research, but that's the research I do. Well, it's been such a pleasure talking with you both and getting to know you. I do have one final question for you, and you can answer this separately or together. The name of the show is The Pittsburgh Dish. What's the best dish you've had to eat this past week?
Oh, I know what that is.
The gnocchi.
Oh, that's what I was gonna
Greta.
say. Yeah.
Oh, you both, the same for both of you?
Yeah.
It's the same answer?
Yeah.
We just
It
went
was
with some
fantastic.
friends. We had never been there before. Greg, we know Chef Greg for years,
Yeah,
and we
Greg
just had
Alzar.
never. We don't get out much. I think you realize in the industry, you want to support your other friends in the industry, but then we have one day off and it's
Especially
Sunday,
now.
and
We have
none of the
Sundays.
places are
They're
open. So you're
open.
like, okay, but known them for years. We're like, let's finally get there, and the gnocchi. Oh my
God, it's fantastic.
amazing.
Pillows of Heaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leo Greta is actually near where we're
Yeah.
recording, just
right.
in Carnegie.
Yeah.
And it actually has two spots. It has a lovely dessert and coffee spot too.
Yes.
But the Italian food is incredible. And I don't think I've had the gnocchi.
It
So
was incredible.
It was
to go.
incredible. Yes, very accessible.
We ordered a
Very good.
lot, but we didn't order that, and he just sent it out, and I'm glad he did because it was lovely.
Yep. So we only get to eat out once a week.
of course. Oh.
We call it feeding day because we don't get to eat that much. We're too busy during the week. So on Sundays, we try to consume our week's calories.
Exactly. Get out there and do it. Oh. Danielle Cain, Rob Hirst, thank you both so much for your time today. And thanks for being
Thank
on
you,
the
Doug.
Pittsburgh Dish.
Thanks for
Sure.
having us.
Thanks for
This was
having
fun.
us.
So fun. Up next, our resident wine expert, Catherine Montest, offers up both a wine recommendation this week, but also a recipe. Let's have a listen. Hey, Catherine.
Hi there, Doug.
Catherine, as we get to some of these, chillier weeks of the year, we're entering into fall to winter time. I know that some folks do something called mulled wine. Have you ever done that?
It's like a warm hug in a mug.
Oh, so you, as a wine drinker, you like mulled wine.
Of course.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Oh, Doug, you're missing out.
Okay. Do you have like a recipe or something you could share with us?
I sure do.
Excellent.
And it couldn't possibly be easier.
Oh,
Get a big pot. If you've got a Dutch oven, that's great.
something that would like kind of hold steady heat.
Yeah, exactly. Pour 2 bottles of inexpensive red wine of a variety that you like. It could be a red blend. It could be Malbec. It could be Pinot Noir. It could be whatever. It doesn't, don't spend a lot of money on it because you're going to be doctoring it up.
Okay. This is kind of like the opposite in summertime when we do sangria, right? This is like winter's version.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Doug. I
Okay.
hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, so glug 2 bottles into your stock pot and then add about a half a cup of brandy or cognac, whatever
okay.
you happen to have.
All right.
Brandy's not as expensive, so I tend to go in that direction, especially if you're making a big batch to serve a lot of people.
Okay.
And when you're buying the brandy, just get the straight brandy. Don't get the cute stuff that's apple or peach flavored or whatever that is.
All right.
That could compete with your wine flavors.
Got you.
So you don't just plain old straight up brandy. And you're also going to need a little bit of a sweetener. You've got some choices here. You can use honey, you can use maple syrup, you could even use agave syrup if you wanted.
Okay.
And put a tablespoon in, but as it simmers, you're going to maybe want to add more sweetness.
Okay.
And you want to start with just a tablespoon.
You can always add more. You can't take it away.
Exactly.
Got you.
And so kind of what makes this really special is not just adding the brandy and the sweetener to it, but it's the spices. So the warm, wonderful winter spices, cloves, cinnamon, and star anise.
And are we leaving these things like whole, like floating in the pot?
Leave
so it
them
looks
whole
good?
and throw them in. You can also add some fruit to this. And the best fruits to add, in my opinion, are lemons and oranges. So you would want one of each. And ideally, if you could have them dried, That would be really cool.
Like slices of dried
Slices
orange.
of dried orange.
That'd be
and
nice.
Slices of dried lemon. If you don't happen to have those available and you don't have the time and the patience to dry them yourselves,
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
yeah, take a shortcut. I believe in shortcuts. And zest a lemon and zest an orange
Okay.
right into the pot.
Well, let me ask this then. I always like using my microplane to zest, but are we talking like maybe using a peeler and doing a strip of zest so you don't lose it in the wine?
Well, now you're getting fancy.
Yeah.
You could absolutely do that. But yeah, I was just going to plain old grab the microplaner and give it a zhuzh.
Okay, good.
See, now you've got me thinking about new ideas for how it's going to look this year.
I feel like we're making a drinkable potpourri in the best way.
In the best way.
Could you also add like, I don't know, slices of apple or pear or something, like float that in there just to give
Absolutely.
a little essence?
It's kind of I like to think of it as an all hands on deck recipe.
Yeah, choose your own adventure.
What you happen to have.
Okay.
I like the cloves, the cinnamon, and the star anise. And I've done lemon and orange. But you could also go a little crazy and throw a handful of craisins in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they'd plump up real nice.
That'd be great.
And if you're making it in time for Thanksgiving or even Christmas or some of the other winter holidays, you could throw fresh cranberries in there if you happen to buy some.
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
Now, when we have this on the stove, probably like a medium heat, I imagine you don't want this to come up to a bubble.
Right.
Okay.
So give it about 20, 30 minutes. Keep an eye on it. And when you start to see the steam rising,
Yeah, those wisps of steam coming off of the surface, that's when it's hot enough.
that's exactly right. That's when it's hot
gotcha.
enough. And at that point, back the heat down because you don't want to boil off all the boozy goodness that was in there to begin with.
Right. You don't want to cook the wine or the brandy. You
Right.
just want it to be nice and hot.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Like a good cup of tea.
And really to serve it, just keep it in your stock pot, grab a ladle and ladle it into mugs because
love this.
it's going to be warm. So you're going to want a handle on that.
Oh, well, this sounds like perfect, whether it's like a starter at Thanksgiving or into Christmas or whatever party you're throwing over the holidays.
Watching a football game.
There you go.
Yeah. And it has the bonus of making the house smell amazing.
Oh, back to my point. It sounds like we're making potpourri, but drinkable.
Drinkable, highly drinkable, super tasty.
Well, I think I want a cup of mulled wine, Catherine.
I'll make sure that happens for you this holiday, Doug.
Aw, Catherine, thanks so much for this recipe, and thanks for being on the Pittsburgh Dish.
Always happy to talk with you, Doug.
You can follow Catherine on Instagram at Your Fairy Wine Mother. That's UR Fairy Wine Mother. Do you have a recipe? Share it with us. Just visit our website at www.pittsburghdish.com and look for our Share a Recipe form. If you enjoyed the show, consider buying us a coffee for this episode or supporting the show monthly. You can find links to those options at the bottom of our show description. And if you want to follow my own food adventures, you can find me on social media at Doug Cooking. That's our show for this week. Thanks again to all of our guests and contributors, and to Kevin Selecki of Carnegie Accordion Company for providing the music to our show. We'll be back again next week with another fresh episode. Stay tuned.